Yeah.
You're not that little.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our How Do You Spirit podcast. Lori here, Taco here. And today we thought we'd do something fun, and Taco's going to actually interview me.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm scared. And ask me questions about my journey and kind of how I got to where I am and what's the purpose, all those things. So anyway, I'm excited and nervous.
You should be.
I know, right? She scares me.
I have that effect on people.
Right?
I do. I've always kind of wanted to like embrace my inner murderer. Or
Right.
You know?
The creepy side.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Lori, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
We've been on a journey together, right?
Yes, for several
Are we,
years.
Like, we're not going to say because that makes me feel old.
I know. Yes.
But I want you to start out with like way back in time, who you are and how you became you.
Okay. Wow. Excuse me. That is a very good question. Where do I start? So growing up, growing up, I had a pretty good family life, good childhood. I mean, my dad and I kind of butted heads at, the teenage stuff.
Yeah.
He thought I was this horrible child, this horrible, crazy mischief child. And I
could see that in you.
Yeah. I wasn't that bad, guys. I really wasn't.
Don't be lying.
I mean, my sister, she got into way more trouble than I did.
Yep. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
you were just over trumped by her.
Yeah, and I was kind of, I feel like the test child, right? Because I'm the oldest. So I'm like, what do we do with her? Anyway, so my dad and I kind of had a rough go at it, during the teenage times. And back then, of course, growing up, I would see dark figures like in my room, scared the shit out of me.
Yep.
I'd go hightailing up the stairs, freaked out. I'd hyperventilate.
Was your family religious?
Yeah, yes. So the background, yes. Both of my mom and dad's parents grew up. Well, my mom's parents were very involved in the church.
Right.
And I was forced to go to church.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, yes. And I was okay with it. I have a lot of great childhood friends
absolutely.
from there and that I still talk to today and that are still active members, which is great. And
I mean, I say it all the time. Religion is a good stepping stone.
Absolutely.
And I think it puts down a really good kind of foundation.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And all religions have their truth.
Yeah.
All of them do.
Yeah.
But they always kind of go back into that kind of fearful space too.
Right.
And
yeah.
I think it kind of messes up our mind a little bit.
Right.
When,
the psyche.
Yeah. When they're like, you shouldn't be this way, so why you creepy?
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was raised that way. Well, my mom and dad later became really involved with the church and members of the church. And I was probably about 12, 13 when they really got serious and started going. And so I would go and that was fine. And I had great times. And then as I got older and got rebellious, I guess, I didn't at that point want to be really involved.
Right.
But at the same time, I wasn't thinking about the spiritual side of anything. And I guess as teenagers, we kind of get distracted, right, with the outside world. Right. And so that kind of started me down my path.
So as a teenager, can you remember ever having a time where, maybe you got yourself in a sticky situation and that gut feeling was like,
oh yeah,
hello.
Yes.
What's the most clearest memory and around what age?
Let's see. I'm gonna have to think about that one for a sec.
That is like you kind of had that gut feeling and knew, shit's about to hit the fan.
Yeah, probably when I kind of questioned things. I guess I got pregnant at a younger age.
Yeah.
and had my two fabulous children, which I'm so grateful for.
Yeah.
And I think then was kind of a like, okay, you start questioning your life path,
Right. Yeah.
you know, like,
Yep.
okay, I'm a mom at 18 and ha- now what?
Yeah. There's nothing that makes you grow up faster than having a baby.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I probably at that point, I start questioning things. Not that my life is bad,
Right.
but I start questioning things, you know, what am I going to do? What am I supposed to be doing? What, you know, what's this, what's that? So that's probably where I really started thinking about, and not even so much yet from a spiritual sense or a spiritual side.
Right. Well, and maybe it wasn't presented to you that way, but about when did you start noticing, you know, you're saying questioning things, but kind of like
Mm-hmm.
wanting to know the truth on things. When did
Yep.
you kind of start going, that 1 + 1 ain't equal to 2?
I would say it was when I was older and not very much older, but I would say probably around the 22-ish to 23 range is when I really started like questioning decisions
Right.
I was making or felt like maybe a decision wasn't the right thing. Like it just didn't feel right in my guts,
Right.
you know? So I would say around that age is when I
So
started.
you started to really embrace your intuition.
I would
Or
say
as that
so.
young
Yeah.
mom, early
Yeah.
20s.
Yeah. And I don't think back then, again, now what I know, right? We looked at it, or I looked at it in such a different light back then.
Well, when you grow up religious, you don't meet a lot of people that kind of are like, no, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. I mean, so you
Yeah,
don't really
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
understand what's happening. You just know that 1 + 1 ain't equal to 2.
Yes, that's so true. And so as time went on, I would say I would start maybe having more, I guess, I intuitive thoughts.
Yep.
About certain things. Even I would almost in my head be like, okay, almost like a sign or a vision.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, makes
Of course it
perfect
does
sense.
to you, right? Like, I'd get ideas in my head.
Right.
But thinking back on it now, where I am today, I feel like it was spirit trying to guide me.
Absolutely. I think a
You
lot
know?
of people kind of experience that. And,
Mm-hmm.
you don't, some people kind of refer to it as like connecting in with your higher self.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Your guides are always going to work with you the way you listen best. And so a
Mhm.
lot of times, when we're having this like conversation in your head, it's actually you having a conversation with your guides. But,
Yes.
people that aren't part of this realm don't understand that.
Yeah, we don't know. Like, oh, what's that?
I mean,
yeah.
like, I find myself funny as hell when I'm talking to myself, I mean,
Right?
we have concerts together. I mean, we're good friends,
Yes. And so that's when I started noticing it more. And through that time, of course, I had a lot of, as you know, because that's kind of, well, I met you a little bit later than that.
Did you notice that, I mean, 'cause we know your first relationship fell
Mm-hmm.
apart.
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice your intuition guiding you through that a little bit more when that
Yes.
was happening? So let's come on,
Yes.
we need the tea, share the story.
Absolutely. During that relationship, it was a long relationship, very long-term relationship. Yes, I started to question more and more and kind of wondering why, like, where are these thoughts coming from?
Right.
And I kind of started getting more interested in the spiritual side of things.
Right.
Well,
And with your sister,
Mhm.
we know that she struggled from
Yep.
addiction issues, and I kind of feel like most addicts, I would even say 95% of the time, most people that get into that are very intuitive, and they just have really poor coping skills.
Yes.
You
yes.
know, I remember giving your sister readings,
Uh-huh.
and oh my God, she was the life of the party.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you could tell, you know, that she was just breaking inside.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I think that judgment of she's, you know, a fuck up. She's, you know, an addict. She's this. I mean, I remember one particular time she had thrown a party, and I was doing a bunch of readings, and I went to go find her, and she had fallen asleep on the floor. And
Yeah. Yeah.
and I remember she was bruised up because she had fallen, and I just held her, and I was like,
Yeah.
Shelly, you got this. I loved her. She was the most caring,
Yes.
giving,
very kind.
absolutely go beyond the call of duty to help anybody out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I find that because my sister suffered from addiction problems as
Yep.
well. And she was the same way. I think a lot of them, like my sister, needed to be needed. And I feel like
Yes.
Shelly was a lot like that as well.
I
She was
totally
like,
agree. Yes.
you know, if a more healthier person needed them, I think they would have absolutely adapted to that.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yes.
But
yes.
I also noticed at that time, you know, you were like the protector
Yeah.
of her.
Yeah.
And I could tell that's when you really showed me you were listening a lot to your intuition.
Uh-huh.
And so what's your most profound memory of how you felt or how you were guided and that you had with her?
With Shelly, I think there's probably not one profound memory. I think at the point where it's Shelly, and you brought her up. That's amazing you did that, because we started talking about ghosts.
Yep.
Spirits.
Yes.
And, you know, watching the ghost reality TVs and all
Right.
that stuff. And so that's kind of when we started connecting that way about the spiritual side, right?
Yeah.
And the ghosts and did you see that show? You know, that kind of thing. And that's kind of when too she started opening up to me. And this was, I believe this was after we had met. So I've always had interest, but I think when the ghost thing came into the picture, and then she started opening up to me, well, I have this guy. He just hangs out at my house with me all the
Right.
time, and his name's Bob, and he likes to sit on my bed and creep me out. And so we started engaging that way. And that's kind of,
Right.
I think, when so she was, and I'm seriously realizing this now, that she was a big instrumental part
Yes.
in
Yep.
me becoming more interested and more intrigued, and, you know, oh my gosh, what else is out there kind of thing.
I think she or did she kind of make it more like it was more normal? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like where, you know, I find a lot of people that are really in that religious belief, right? And then you meet someone like hers, like out of the box.
Yes.
And it just kind of opens it up and starts
Right.
making sense with what you're experiencing.
Yes.
And
Yep.
yeah, I definitely could see her being that type. I think she did that for a lot of people, actually.
Probably.
She did. She was very open. She was
Yeah.
very intuitive. She just had a heart bigger than what she could do.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah,
Yep.
I remember you being kind of her little protector.
Yeah. Little
and,
Shelly.
Yeah. And being the big sister all night.
Uh-huh.
The reason that meant so much to me is because your relationship with her reminded me a lot of my relationship with my sister.
Yes.
And
Wow.
so it's kind of interesting. Here we are, and both of our sisters
I
are,
know, right?
on the
And I'm
other
getting
side,
the chills.
you know they were your biggest fan. They
Uh-huh.
were like the person that like
Yep.
opened your world up.
Mhm.
Sometimes in not the best ways,
Right?
But, you know, they definitely made it entertaining.
Yes, for sure. Yeah. We, and having somebody to talk about this stuff, because even nowadays it's becoming more out there, right? The
Yes,
spirit, and
yeah.
that's why we're sitting here.
It's kind of like I've noticed. It's almost like, you know, religion was the big move.
Right.
But you get all of these very evolved old souls coming in.
Mm-hmm.
They're shifting from that religious, like,
To this.
mind
Yeah.
shit to the spiritual.
Yes.
They're
Yeah.
kind of like, we know this ain't right.
Yeah.
I mean, I've noticed that shift, and so I think that's why this vibration and everything is happening, because we've
Mhm.
got very aware, woke souls
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
when do you feel you had your biggest maybe light bulb moment with your intuition, with your guides? Were you in like a danger spot, or were you in like a, hey, I gotta fix this spot, or?
Let me, God, it's so hard to think back on all of it. Gal, she's asking tough questions here.
Oh, I just getting started.
I don't know. I'm trying to think.
When you connected with your first husband,
Mm-hmm.
did you ever have that sense of, this is kind of temporary? Does that make sense? Like, where you want it to be a life partner, right? But there was that little truth meter saying, it's more just for a season, not a lifetime.
Yeah. Yes, as the relationship went on, yes. Something just felt off,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
I felt like I was a whole different person.
Oh, yeah, you were.
Like I grew up, I guess, and I was I was kind of over here and he was still way back there, And so there just wasn't that connection. Like we weren't on the same plane anymore.
Right.
And okay, so when that relationship was going on, I had asked, let's go to therapy. Let's go, try to figure this out. No, never go with me. Anyway, and so kind of towards the end, he finally agreed to go to therapy with me. And I think that moment, now that I've had a chance to think about it a little bit, excuse me, when I was sitting in a session with him and the therapist, I was sitting there and like the light bulb came on. Like, nope, you're done. Like it's time to move on.
Yeah.
So I say that was a big aha moment, and finally really realizing that listening to myself, my intuition, my feelings, my guts, my, higher self, all of that. And that wasn't that long ago. Well, I guess it was. It was probably.
Don't be saying it out loud because it'll make us old.
Let's say over 10 years ago. So it was. It doesn't seem like a long time ago.
I think people run into, and it's probably, if you had more time to think about it, you would know that exact moment.
Yeah.
But, when it's kind of like when I meet someone and I just either instantly don't like them or instantly do, right?
Yeah.
And it usually it's if I don't instantly like them. And then, as you get to know them, you're like, well, maybe I'm a little bit wrong. And then it always ends up proving you right. I think a lot of times when we get involved in relationships, what we're wanting and craving
Yes.
makes us dismiss our little truth meter going, this might not
Absolutely.
be the right one, but it's okay for now,
Yes, that's so true. And
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are in that
I
situation
agree.
today. Like they're just there knowing that it's not the right place, or they don't feel like it's the right place.
Right.
But you just kind of go with it and
Well,
keep
you
going
just-
with it.
You hope that you're
Yeah.
wrong. You hope that it will get better.
Mhm.
And it really doesn't. But I think if we all started listening
Yes.
to that,
Yes.
that truth meter, that inner,
Mhm.
hey, I really think that we are shifting to do that, but I think that when you start, as you know, like following that gut feeling, that intuition,
Yep.
it makes everything come together almost kind of effortlessly.
It does. It truly does.
And so the more I think people embrace their spiritual kind of, just God-given, like, truth.
Yes.
I think that's where we've gone wrong. I think that's where we've made things so hard because we're good at complicating shit. Like
right.
We are professionals on that.
Yes, for sure.
And so I think, that's why I always tell people it's that first thought, that first feeling, that first smell, sight, like it's that first. So what was your biggest aha? Okay, I heard my guides and I'm following it. What was your biggest moment?
It was not too long ago, actually. Not this year, but I'd say last year when I really started embracing my spiritual side and wanting to be able to communicate and understand. And the big aha moment, well, there's a couple, and I've told this story before, but it's the one when I asked for a sign and I got it in the weirdest place on the computer looking at homes for sale. I asked for a hummingbird to show up and there was a picture of a random hummingbird on the listing. So that was huge. I would say
that was your big, but you were already embracing that. What was your big moment that got you to start embracing more that spiritual?
Oh gosh,
more that hey shit, I might be psychic kind of thing. Probably
was it taco?
Maybe.
She does have a lot to do with it. Yeah, she does have a lot to do with it for sure. But because she would always tell me, I'm like, nope. And she's like, yep. I'm like, no, that's not possible. No, that's just not a true thing.
What I remember clearly, and this is the light bulb moment I remember very clearly with you.
Okay.
And I was doing a psychic party for one of our friends.
Yep.
And you were going through a rough patch with your now ex.
Yeah.
And we were sitting outside and you just started like gushing and telling me how all of a sudden I just felt like I needed to do this and then I did and then this happened and then this happened and I was like, well duh, like honey, I've been telling you this for how long? Good 8 years.
Right. That's so true.
That was where I seen you just almost like light up.
Like the light bulb turned on.
You were like, I know now where I'm going.
Okay.
And that was like right before you all of a sudden just kind of took it in your hands and went, I'm going to change this direction and I'm going to make my life the most fulfilling I can. And that was kind of like the one I witnessed.
Yes.
With you.
And that makes sense. I don't remember that moment.
Well, you were going through a little bit shit. Yeah.
But thank you for that because you recognize that and notice that in me. I don't know. Do I have an aha, big, huge moment? I feel like the last probably 1 to 2 years of my life, I've had a lot of those moments.
Yes. Yeah.
Where I'm like, okay, I would say a couple years ago. And then that's why we're sitting here. I'm like, I want to do something. Like, I started listening to audiobooks and stuff and trying to learn different things about how people's spirit and how many different things there are out there. And I just felt like, why doesn't the world know? Like, why doesn't the world embrace all of this wonderful stuff that is out there?
Isn't it crazy how much light, like literally you can feel it coming into your soul?
Yes.
Even in those darkest moments, you just absolutely know, hey, it's gonna be okay. We got you. And you can damn near feel them just hold you through that dark moment. And you're right, when you, and I say it all the time, like this when you connect in with this with spirit,
Yes.
it's addicting.
Oh yeah.
It's addicting. You don't have this heaviness. You don't
Nope.
have this overwhelming and the fear and the anxiety and the I have to's and I should have's and I could have's.
Yes.
It's light and it's relieving and it's fulfilling.
It feels so good.
It does. It's like that really nice when you get in that good drunk buzz
Yep.
where you're just
Yep.
like enjoying the music and kind of flowing.
Yes.
But yes. Yeah.
It feels so good. And so, like, why doesn't everybody want to feel this way?
I think they do. I don't think they know what
How
that
to
looks
get
like.
there. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Yeah. Of course people want to feel this way, right? That was a kind of a silly statement. But you're right. Why or how
Yeah.
they don't know how.
We let the reality we create
Mhm.
overshadow the light that we could create as well.
That we have
You know,
within us.
I mean,
yeah.
a lot of times we really do bring in our own misery. I mean, we really
Oh,
do.
absolutely.
You know,
Mhm.
and when you sit there and you stay in that and you just get like sucked down more and more and more and more and more,
Mhm.
I think it is, I think that people are kind of caught in that. I think that's where they're not embracing, hey, you know what, this might be a hard moment, but what can I learn from it?
Right.
Let's get her done.
Climb
and then
out
let's
of the
move
hole.
on. Because I say it all the time. I don't
Oh,
know
yeah.
how people can stay like in that depressive, angry, the
Mhm.
world sucks space. It drains me.
Yeah.
Like I don't like feeling that. I mean, I can go with that for a day if I'm really super mad, but I don't like to do it. You know what I mean?
I've got to the point now where if I see something in public, like people getting angry with each other or something, I actually laugh internally.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like,
because
why-
you're just going, what? This isn't anything to be that upset about.
Right. Yeah.
You know, this is a moment, and that's why we keep pushing. You
Mhm.
know, it just takes one baby moment to either make someone's day
Yeah.
or destroy it.
Yeah. Make it or break it, right?
So, what is your mission? Where are you going with this movement? Like, why are you creating this?
Because I want everybody in the world to feel like I do.
I love that.
That's it. I
what
want
does that
every
look like to you?
For us to build a community and learn everything that we possibly can to make it easy for people to connect with their higher selves, their inner spirit with spirit, and what, like I said, there's just so many ways, and we need to spread the word about all the many ways so people can find what they resonate with and then go with it.
Yeah.
And you might not resonate with just one or two things, or there's a few things that I love.
Music is one of my top favorites.
Same.
If I'm angry, Alanis Morissette all day long.
Right?
I got shit done.
Yeah.
If I want to be inspired, I go Blue October, man. We got that going on.
Yeah.
What is it that kind of brings that light into you? What would have helped you to embrace this light, this spirituality, this journey? What could have helped you do that? Like
Sooner?
Yeah.
Finding community. That, like what we're trying to do now, finding the community that you feel safe in, for one thing.
Right.
To-
Not weird. You feel like
yeah.
you're kind of normal. Yeah.
Yes, excuse me. So yeah, finding like people like you and being able to share how you feel and them not think that you're nuts.
That is kind of important, but I have to admit, sometimes with them thinking you're nuts, you can get away with a lot. Of
Right,
shit, you know?
true.
To embrace their inner weirdness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just finding more like kind people would
Right.
have helped me. And so that's why I'm super passionate about this, because people And we see it on the social media. They might not say anything or reach out, but they're watching.
Absolutely.
And if that's all we can do is get people to watch so they can start experiencing that community feeling that, yes, there are people out there that embrace spirit and in many different ways, and how much it helps us grow, in general with our life
Right.
and ourself. And anyway, yeah, that's my mission. I just want to change the world.
Well, at least put a dent in it, right?
It's a huge undertaking. So come on, everybody, we need your help here.
I think it's like I've run across a lot of clients actually recently that they're just kind of learning it's okay to be weird, which is so weird to me because it's not. This isn't weird.
No.
The way we like obsess and get too caught up in like that's weird because
Right.
that's just learning, right? But they really struggle with like understanding how to utilize this, and I've noticed like when people first like find that it's okay to really embrace who they are.
Yeah.
They are gushing at
Yes.
first. They like cannot say it enough, and then their people are like a little bit like, what the hell, you're over the top.
Yeah.
And then they get accused of being too happy, which is I've achieved that. That's awesome. That is an awesome achievement.
Yep.
But going in that and helping others to connect, because I think people feel really lost right now.
Absolutely.
And so I love what you're creating, and you're creating this space for all walks of
yes,
life of people.
Everyone.
Everybody has a beautiful story. Everyone.
Yep.
And that's what I am excited for people to connect in and share. Like, let's hear your story.
Yes, we want to hear your story. We want to find out how you found yourself.
Absolutely. Or what you're struggling with and how we can help one another to find.
Yes.
Find you.
When we were just talking earlier, when you'd mentioned a reading you'd done where the person had, well, I have these thoughts in my head. Yes. And we do. And that's kind of the aha moment. You have the thoughts in your head of, is this my question? What is this? Or what is that? What does this mean? And then they visit with a psychic, and then you just validate everything. Or do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. And I run into that a lot of the time, where you're connecting with someone that's very, very, very psychic themselves. They just don't want to embrace the weirdness, right?
Yes.
And it's like, I tell them all the time, I know I'm just confirming what you already know. Like, that's how I felt with you.
Oh, yeah.
Every time 100%. I give you a reading, down from the very first time, and you was that blonde bombshell. I remember, like, walking up and seeing you, I'm like, this girl's got a gift. And how I see that is it's almost like people that haven't quite like allowed themselves to really embrace it. You can see it all over them. You can tell they it's almost like they've tried to fit in too small a pants.
Yeah.
And so they're like uncomfortable, they're bloated.
They're busting at the seams.
Right. But goddamn, their ass looks good kind of thing. Absolutely. And then when they finally do explode, and most of the time that explodes their life. Like they are going to go through a whole complete life flip.
Yeah.
But even with that, the more they embraced who they were, the happier they were, the more fulfillment they were.
Yes.
I mean, it was amazing watching you transform into being this really powerful spiritual teacher like you are, and in every walk of life. And what I was most impressed with you is when you decide to do something, I don't even think God himself going to stop you.
Get out the way.
you going in like a bulldozer,
right, yeah.
But I always have admired like just how much you love to learn.
Yes,
and
I do love that.
I love when people are when I was doing mediumship classes and they were like trying to kind of figure out how to connect in with their gift. And because some of us have a stronger like intuition on past, or stronger intuition on present, or stronger intuition on future, or they're a different kind of psychic. You can have a health psychic, a business psychic, all walks of life. And I remember like watching people and just kind of like watching the transformation, and it would be like a 3-week course, and they go from this like shy little mouse to also this confident, like, I got this. I was like, hold down, slow
down there.
Right. What was your like most, oh shit, I did it, right? Like, what was that what was your first, like, when you were doing a reading, your first, oh my dear baby Jesus?
So I've done a couple readings that really,
you've done a lot
I've done
of
more than a couple, yes. But because you always freak yourself out.
Yeah, you can. Well,
Still,
I'm past that.
You're like, I'm over it. I know.
But I'm seasoned. I mean, it is what it is.
I'm a young one still. I will tell people stuff and I'll like freak myself out. But I ask people that I do readings for, if something happens that I've mentioned to you, because I don't remember typically what I tell them.
Well, and that's not for you to remember. That's
right.
How you actually know that you were connecting in. It isn't your information to retain,
right?
Which is, it kind of sucks because like we can't even tattletale on you if we wanted to.
Right, right.
I know the only times I remember, and it's not I don't remember the reading, but I'll remember like a moment as if it hits me really weird or funny.
Yeah.
Then I'll be like, oh shit. Oh, and if their guides are like, I hear the same message over and over and over and over and over again.
They pick at you.
Yeah, then I'm like, oh shit, maybe I gotta pay attention to that. That could be a planetary thing.
I get the same thing where their guides will just sit and tell me the same thing. Oh, I'm like, I've told them. No, you got to tell them again. Okay.
Well, and that's a good way. Okay, so when you're running into something like that, and this is just because I've had to learn all the things, right?
Yes.
It's because our guides don't like to repeat themselves.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
So if they are having to say it over and over and over again, it's because you
I'm not investigating
you're not
good
investigating
enough.
Okay. You're not doing the what, when, why, and how.
Yes.
Right?
Okay.
And that's why they will sit there and go, nope, we're going back to the starting line.
Start one.
Here it is. It is a peanut shell. All right. Now we got to fucking find the peanut.
That makes so much. That's so funny. Oh my gosh.
So what was your biggest aha moment with
my readings?
Your first readings? Yeah.
So I did a reading for a friend, and this has been a few years ago. And she came to the house and we sat down and blah, blah, blah. And I always try to tune into people before I meet with them if I know them. And I always get things before they get there. And so when they get there, I sit down with them and I get tingly. My hands start getting tingly when I start to tune in. And then they show me the same things. So one of these things for my friend, they kept showing me a baby face, a little round. And I get the funniest pictures.
Oh my God, aren't they
great?
Yeah,
like some are like very like kindergarten-ish.
Oh yeah, I love those.
Yeah. I kept getting the baby face of this cute little chubby baby face and the hair sticking up on the head. And I kept telling her, I'm like, they're showing me a baby. Like, they're just showing me a baby. I'm like, do you want more kids? She's like, no, I am not having any more kids, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? She called me 2 weeks later and told me she was pregnant.
Yep.
And she had no idea. And that was like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
This is exactly why I always say, even, I'm going to stick with what I get from your guides.
Yeah.
You're not going to sway me.
Right.
Because we have reasons to be in denial, or reasons to like not
question,
not see it that way. And we're like, what the hell? I ain't gonna be moving to Texas, you lying, and then all of a sudden the next day we get a phone call and we're moving to Texas.
They're gone.
That actually happens quite frequently. And that's where I just say, well, we can always agree to disagree, but I have to stick with what your guides are saying.
Yeah.
Because it every time.
Yep.
Every time.
That's what she would tell me. we'll have to agree to disagree because nope, this is what's happening.
Well, in the moment, to be fair, you're not seeing that. And that's why I always
No.
say, when you're in the situation, you're blindfolded. So
Absolutely.
you're not going to see it clearly.
Yeah, yeah.
And this is why we're not designed to do life alone.
Yes.
We need others to be like, hey, you being a dumbass, come over here,
Yeah.
But I think that's so neat about your pregnancy. Is interesting to me because I smell pregnancy.
That's what you said.
I do. When someone's pregnant around me, I mean, it's
like,
not
oh.
a bad smell, but I'm like, God damn, you stink. Because it's like a very old, like fashion, like very perfumey, flowery smell where it's like, that's how that smells. I mean, like, it was funny. My brother and his wife came to my other brother's wedding. And I didn't know that they had been trying for a baby. Like, they kept everything on the down low because she was having a hard time getting pregnant. And yeah, I didn't care. I mean, I'm doing my own life, right? And I go trotting on over there, and I would look at her. I'm like, damn, you stink. She was like, what the hell? I'm like, you're pregnant, aren't you? You pregnant? She's like, no. Oh, she freaked out, ran to my brother, started bawling her eyes out, and started getting in a fight with him because she thought he had told me. And he's like, I told you my sister's second. It was so hilarious. So yeah, I caused the drama at my other brother's wedding.
Oh my gosh. Did she know she was at that point?
Well, she didn't.
She didn't know
She
yet.
didn't.
Okay.
They were trying.
Okay, but she didn't know.
She didn't know, and they were waiting for that
the moment to
the
test.
Moment, yeah. And they were going through some fertility help and stuff, and I think, I could be wrong on this, but I think they had 2 miscarriages.
Okay.
And again, none of us knew this.
Right.
Because, my brother, when he got married, he was just like, peace out,
Yeah.
And we all love and adore him, but damn it, he just ran away.
He just disappeared.
So we didn't ever really know a whole lot of what they were doing. They lived pretty far away. So when that happened at the wedding, she was like freaking out. And he was like, calm down. I told you my sister's psychic. And then he pulled me to the side. He's like, shut the hell up. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Check yourself.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't know.
Right.
I knew she was pregnant.
Yeah.
She stunk.
That's so crazy.
But that, everybody, I say this all the time, like, it doesn't matter how you see pregnancy or I smell pregnancy or, she smells the mountain or whatever it may be. Like, no, the information might come in a different way.
Right.
But you're always going to get to the same destination.
Right. The message.
Right? Yeah.
Yep.
And so, even though I might word it differently than what you're wording it, or I see it differently than what you're seeing it, again, you'll always get the same answer. You'll always meet at the same time.
We have to learn how to interpret our
It's
guide's
fun
language.
when you watch someone with you, and I watch you tune in, and this is kind of fun for me because I can see you like bouncing up and down like a damn kangaroo. You're like, I'm in. Oh no. Oh man.
You can see that.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
fun.
crazy.
It's fun. You'll get into that where you're just kind of like finding the neat little quirks that entertain you while your guides are doing the reading.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's fun.
That's
fun.
so funny. I didn't know you could do that or saw that.
So what was your scariest moment?
So I have to say the scariest moment is when I was young and I was in the basement and the dark figure appeared in the corner in my bedroom. Yeah, it was, and that's kind of when I started, now that I know this, feeling energies, but I feel like they were kind of negative energies. And yeah, I would almost not like to go to bed at night because I get so creeped out. And I was just laying in bed one night and I kind of rolled over and looked at the end of my bed, and right down in the corner, there's this like dark figure about this tall. And I just didn't get a good feeling from him. So of course I got freaked out and went upstairs.
Well, yeah,
that
that's
was
a little
super,
munchkin, man.
yeah, that was the scariest moment I've ever had.
That's interesting. You know, a lot of times when people see like uh scary things like that, where it's like a big shadow figure, or it's, you know, a creepy kid, right?
Yeah.
Things like that. A lot of times, and they call them demons and spirits and stuff. Houses tend to suck in energy.
Oh.
So let's say that, you know, you went to a place where there was a murder and there was a lot of fighting and all that. When people start like renovating a home, it opens that
It
up,
stirs
and
it
so
up.
all of a sudden all that negative shit comes in, and it can take any form.
Okay.
You know, so usually if you're not like seeing a kind of a, how would I put it, more like a not shadowy figure, but like a kind of a smoky figure,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Now that's usually a spirit, a ghost,
Yeah.
right? But when it's like the creepy crawler things,
Yeah.
that's more of an energy.
Okay, so maybe it wasn't a scary demon, it was just an energy.
No, yeah, absolutely. It was just the energy, and that's the form it took, because a lot
Okay.
of times what happens is your fear, right,
Yes.
will create it to form that way. So it's like, okay, if I was very afraid of the devil, right,
Yes.
and all of a sudden this energy is kind of balling up,
Uh-huh.
that energy is going to present itself like what we think of as the devil.
Okay.
Because it's going to
Makes
scare the
sense.
shit out of me, because I'm creating it to take that form. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yes.
So yeah, that's a lot of times that's them, and it's a rough go when you got that kind of crap going on. But
Yeah.
usually sage and some prayers and stuff, that'll work. You know, you don't got to do a whole lot of the this and that's like people try to pretend you got to do.
Right.
But
Right.
because sage stinks to them, it's like having a skunk
Yeah.
like fart in your face. You know what I mean?
I love
They're like,
the
"I'm
smell
out."
of sage.
Me too.
I love it. Yeah.
Me too. It was funny. I got pulled over one time, and I don't get pulled over very often. Like, I'm
Yes.
kind of a good kid. I'm not a good kid. I'm invisible, I think.
Yeah.
Because I just like go flying past, and I got pulled over, and I had had a feeling that someone in my family, there was something going to happen.
Yes.
And so when that happens, I'm on a mission. I got the sage, I got the holy water. I mean, like, I go to each one of their houses,
Right.
sage and shit, and I'm like, and I got pulled over, and this cop literally was having a come undone, thinking that it was pot.
Right,
I'm
you
like,
were
I
smoking
swear
weed
it's
in the
sage, and I've
car.
got like this big old sage thing.
Yeah.
And like he even tested it to make
He
sure that
did?
yes, he did. I'm like,
Oh
I'm
my
sorry,
gosh.
it's just sage. I promise, it's just sage.
Have you not been around weed, sir?
Yeah.
Or-
They've been around weed. They thought that's what it was. I've had that happen with my my horses one time. Because I call it my crack whore truck. You know,
Yes.
it's like all rusted and stuff, but that's my farm vehicle.
Right.
I'd had some grain spill out, and it had fermented, which smells like beer. And
Yeah.
I got pulled over because I had a horse colic. I went running in to go help and give it the shots and all thing, and I get pulled over, and oh my lord, he was doing a sobriety test on me. And everything. I'm like, sir, I promise you, it's just the grain in the back that's fermented. I'm not doing it. But, oh yeah, that's been fun.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was
Wow.
hilarious. He it was a big smudge stick.
Yeah.
When I'm like, who would have done that for weed? I mean,
Right.
I guess like if you thought you could do like a Snoop Dogg blunt or something,
Right.
like maybe something like that. But
Right.
yeah, it was crazy.
That's
it was
funny.
Crazy. Have you connected in and worked on with your readings any health stuff?
Yes, I do get health stuff.
Okay, tell me your weirdest, kind of coolest.
So another friend, and this was a few years ago, and I did a reading for her.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, they were showing me her husband, and something stuck like in his chest, like, you know, and again, the kindergarten pictures. So I drew a picture on a piece of paper, like, you know how you see the esophagus goes down to the stomach and then goes down to your intestines. And they were showing me something like red and inflamed and stuck in between the stomach and where his esophagus connected.
Oh wow.
And she's like, well, guess what happened? like a year and a half later, about, he ends up choking
Oh shit.
and getting a piece of, I think it was steak, caught. And he had to go to the emergency room.
Wow.
So that's what that was all about. So that's a health thing. I've had people with knees, like, what's going on with your knee?
Do you see it or do you feel it?
I see
It, like in
it.
your body. You know what I mean?
I see it.
You see it.
I see the
What is that? What does like that inflammation look like? Is it red
Yeah.
or is it like?
red, like not dark, rich red, but it's
Right.
kind of like a kind of a pinky but dark red.
Wow.
That's what I get on
when
the
I
health.
see like cancer on people.
Mhm.
They'll show me black cells, like blood cells. They'll
Oh,
show it
yeah.
to me black. I've had a lot of people. I actually, when I first started out with doing readings, I actually had a friend that was kind of getting into doing readings. So we would do little fairs and
Yeah.
go to that. I had one lady, and she was beautiful. You know, she comes in for a reading, and I give her a reading and telling her all this stuff that's happening, and she gets up, and I mean, at this point, like our booth is like completely socked in with people. I
Right.
mean, like you couldn't get in or out. Like there was so many. They all like
You were
it's
drawing
weird.
a crowd.
Anytime I do readings, like
It's
everybody
the
will be in
energy,
there.
right?
Right. And she gets up, she's like, "You're fake, you're a liar." I mean, like screaming, like, "I busted you. My doctor said I'm gonna be dead in 6 months." And,
Oh,
and I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna have to disagree. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I see you pretty alive." And she's like screaming and yelling to the point that the police that were like listening in on all the readings, they escorted her away.
oh my.
So she's like having she was on a mission
yeah.
to just like blow our cover or something. I don't know. She comes back the next year
Mm-hmm.
and she gives me triple what I charged and was unbelievably humble. And she's like, "I am so sorry. You were right. This
Yeah.
isn't cancer. This, my doctor misdiagnosed." And so they were putting her through all the things, and it ended up
Oh
being
my-
a whole different thing. She's like,
Wow.
"I'm so sorry. I really thought I was going to die." I'm like, "I know you did, but I told you ain't that lucky. I mean,
Right.
you're good to go." But I see like cancer is like black cells. I
Uh-huh.
can see, like if someone has some mental problems or
Uh-huh.
dementia or something, I see like a gray film
Oh,
going over
okay.
their brain,
Uh-huh.
and it's kind of cool how they show you
yeah.
little things that just like, okay, well, this is where it's at and this is what it is.
Yep.
It's kind of cool how they work.
Yeah.
But you're right.
I
It's
get
so
the
fun.
textbook with the red inflamed
That
part.
is neat. That is really neat. Really neat.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, I think what you're doing, Lori, is so amazing, and I'm
Thank you.
so excited about what you're creating for people, and especially for people if they need a little bit of help to just
Mhm.
kind of embrace their.
We
who
are
they
here to help
and,
you. Yes.
kind of find a like.
Mhm.
Souls, you
Yeah.
see a lot of like healers going around afflict and broken people, but you don't
Mhm.
really see a lot of healers connecting with other healers.
Right.
So we're not collecting just only broken people. So,
Yeah.
it's sad to me.
Yeah.
So I
for
love
sure.
that you've like created a space where they can share their story. They can, get some help if they need some help or
Mhm.
encouragement or understanding. I mean, this is what this planet needs so much.
It is. Yep.
That is unbelievably, I admire you so much, and you are so
Thank
brave
you.
to just do it. But God damn it, we're gonna have a good time
Yes,
doing it.
we
aren't
are. We are. And that was an aha moment too, how I came up with the name, because I was talking to Chelsea about it. I'm like, I finally figured out what I want to do. I want to do a podcast, because we started the Facebook group and I didn't really know what to do with it. And I'm like, I
Right.
have to do a podcast. I want to get the message out. And I was sitting at my desk and I was sitting there and I'm like, okay, I need a name for the podcast, right? And
Right.
I'm just not great, like creative that way. I don't know. So I asked my guides for help. I said, okay, show me the name. And they popped it to me right away. How do you spirit?
No shit.
Yeah.
That
And
is
I just got the
awesome.
chills.
I love that.
And I literally text her and I said, I just got the name.
Wow. Your guides are nicer than mine. Mine would like have hit me upside the head with a stop sign or something. You know?
Maybe.
Here you go. You know?
Yeah, but that's how I came up. I've had a few people ask me, how did you come up with the name? And that's how I did it. I asked for
an
it.
amazing name. And again, what you're creating is so needed, and
It is.
absolutely
Yes,
like
I agree.
is so nice that you're building that community
Mhm.
and support for others. I think, you know, this world's a little rough right now. I think we all could
Absolutely.
use as much support as we can get.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, and so thank you.
You're welcome.
what
And
you're
thank
doing.
you for your support, guys. You don't know how much she supported me either. Like we bounce ideas off each other, and just where you're so seasoned has been so helpful for me. I'm so grateful that you're along for the ride.
I definitely am. So, how if they want to get a book a reading from
Mhm.
you, what can you kind of go through the process? Like with me, I'm like, okay, I talk to your guides. This is
Mhm.
what I do. You know, go through the process of what your reading would look like and what they should be expecting, and you know, kind of go from there.
Okay.
And then make sure you let them know how they can book
Yes.
a reading with you.
Yeah, so I, of course, try to, if I know you, I try to, or if I have a picture of you, I don't even have to know you. If I have a picture, I try to tune in before they come. And I always get stuff before they show up. And then I've done them online too, guys. I can do video too.
Mhm.
And so, and then once we're face to face, whether that be in person or not, I again tune in and just wait for the magic to happen. Just wait. I just start getting pictures or
Yeah.
words or I hear, you know,
Yes.
in my mind. And then I start asking questions, which I'm working on that now, being the investigator. And I just tell everybody to come with an open mind, right?
Yes.
That's super helpful, because if you're closed off, it's difficult.
It's
It's
hard
harder.
enough to do a reading, and but
Mhm.
when you come and you shut yourself down, which is why I told you, you know, if you've got someone like that, because you're gonna run into
Oh,
that
of course.
over and over
Yeah.
again, where they're just gonna make sure they don't do nothing, and it's
Yeah.
like I don't care. But when you
Mhm.
shut down that hard,
Mm-hmm.
it's so hard to. It's annoying. It's annoying to
Yeah.
have to sit there and break through those walls. Does that make
Yes.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah. It
And
is.
so that's why, like, if I got someone that wants to be an ass, I'm just gonna make them like start talking and laughing.
Yeah. Loosen
Lighten
them up.
it up a little
Yeah.
bit.
Mhm.
I don't want to hear nothing about you, but let's not be an asshole, okay?
Right.
And then go in. So yeah, I that is neat that you're like kind of learning how to
Yeah.
really jump in and.
Yeah.
Do you have like a process where you go, okay, what is it that they most need to hear? Or
Yes, I absolutely do that. Before, when I'm tuning in, I ask my guides and to help bring their guides to the table, and you know, send me the messages that they need to hear.
Perfect.
That's what I do every time before. Yeah.
perfect.
And I always, you know, I'm just a messenger. This is not coming from me.
Exactly.
I'm just the messenger.
And
So
we
don't
can't
shoot them.
tattletale on you
Yeah.
either.
Yeah, don't shoot the messenger. And then something I did fun, the last reading I did last week, I thought I'm just going to try it. So we did our reading and it was great. And I actually pulled a card, just one card from a tarot deck at the end. I said, do you mind if we do that? She's like, no, let's do it. And we did it, and it lined up perfectly with what I told her.
Mine do that all the time
Mhm.
too. I just love them. And what, you know, for God, I don't even know how many years, but everybody would always buy me for Christmas, my birthday, anything. I always got tarot decks,
Yes.
and, you know, oracle cards and things like that. But my go-to
Uh-huh.
that just fits who I am
Right.
is the Animal Druid Oracle.
Yeah.
And so you'll find the one that just like you'll have
You're just
the other ones and they're
connected to
fine,
it,
but
right?
There's one that really fits your energy, right?
Yep, yep.
So that's neat. I'm glad that you did it right. I tell people all the time, you gotta trust what you get first.
Yes.
Develop that, trust that, and then you
Mm-hmm.
can add in the stupid little gimmicks.
Yeah.
Because what you get will always be way more detailed and accurate than anything any cards or anything are going to tell you.
Yeah.
So you did it right. I'm glad that you learned to trust that versus.
And you get some
putting it
crazy
in.
shit.
It's
like,
yeah.
Why are they showing me a piece of pizza? I've had pizza. I've had the last gal that I was just speaking about. They were showing me a Frisbee right off the bat, and it was a validation because when she was younger, she got hit in the head with a Frisbee and has a scar on her forehead. So that was a validation from spirit. And I'm like, why are you showing me Frisbee? But we can't ask. We just have to go with it because it will mean something to that person.
That's also important too. I don't like anybody to give me any information about them at all.
No, same.
Right from the get-go. I'll go right to your guides and get that out.
I should have mentioned that. That's same.
And do that. And I think that is, I do that mainly because I don't ever want you to think I'm reading off of what you're saying.
Exactly.
Right?
You're making
not that
something
I would do
off.
that anyway, but
right.
I don't want you to ever question what I'm getting. Does
right.
that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
And so that's awesome that you're doing that as well. And then when we go into the questions, then we can kind of get a little bit more.
Right.
But right from the get-go, I don't like to know a damn thing.
No. And the less I know somebody, the better for me. I'm getting better.
Just to trust it. Yep.
Yep.
I get that.
But yeah, so if anybody's interested in a reading, go to the How Do You Spirit page, howdoyouspirit.com, and I can do them online through video.
Yep.
So you don't have to be here in Utah or close or in Salt Lake or whatever. But yeah, I love it. I love the feeling of helping people, validating their feelings or telling them something exciting or, I've thought about that. I'm going to do that now, Right. And it's just so rewarding.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh, thank you, Mom.
My little girl's growing up.
Yep. All right.
I have some questions.
Oh, you do?
Well,
Okay.
I have a lot of comments, but questions.
Okay.
So we have
No.
Cindy. She just said hi.
Hi, Cindy. Oh, we don't want to say last names. I know a few Cindys, but okay.
We have someone on TikTok that is wondering, and their name is Demonic.
Okay.
Do y'all enjoy doing that?
Doing readings?
I'm not really sure what they meant by that. And maybe readings, maybe podcasts.
Yes, I love it. I absolutely love it.
What I love most, I love doing readings. I think you meet some really amazing people.
Yes.
And almost my favorite are the most skeptical
Yes.
ones because I love to just shove it
just
up their ass and
shock
just boom, 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 right?
And you can just see people's look on their faces.
Exactly.
Or they cry. They get very
they
emotional.
cry. And I love when it is that impactful.
It
I
hits
do.
home, right?
You're right.
Yeah.
And then, but do we love doing it? You know what I love about doing the podcast with you?
Yeah.
I just love that we're trying to be part of the solution and really get some hope and connection and awareness and get people to come into this and get some support from one another.
Yeah.
And God, if we could all join together and actually get along, wouldn't that be a miracle?
Amazing.
I think that'd be awesome. That would be awesome, and build each other up and not tear each other down. Life is hard enough.
Right.
You don't need to be an ass.
No.
You just don't.
No.
You don't. A fun ass. Now I'll take that. But don't be an asshole.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. What else?
Tiara, she says, I love taco.
Yes, we all do.
I love you too.
Doreen,
Doreen,
She says,
Hi, Doreen.
she says, "Hey girl, two of my favorite people."
Yes, hi,
I love her.
Doreen.
She's so
Yeah.
pretty.
And
She's
she-
She's
beautiful.
one of my childhood friends.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah, I love it.
She has an actual question though.
Okay.
All right, we got it.
She says, "I'm having surgery on September 9th. Will I have the results I'm needing?"
So I got an immediate yes, but there's still some questions behind it. Does that make any sense to you?
Yeah, I mean, the results that you're looking for, absolutely.
But maybe not.
But not. There's going to have to be a little bit more, like maybe revision, more.
There's not a solution yet, I feel
It's
like.
not going to be all the way fixed, but you'll get the results
Yeah.
you're wanting.
Okay.
Makes sense. Okay.
I also have Amber. She says, "Hello, ladies. It's me again."
Hello,
Love you, Amber.
And she says, "Any messages from the other side?"
I'll let Taco do this one.
Yeah, actually, her guides want her to get her ass out and start living. She's like hiding. She needs to get out and start expanding her world a little bit. Like, why are you shutting down? She just kind of recalibrating.
She says, "Dang it, I'm a hermit."
You got, honey. Right now, you guys, seriously, I can't stress the importance of really getting out there and living and getting a good life source anchor. I'm not kidding you. Like this shift we got going on, and I'm seriously, if you aren't doing that, and I know it's hard. I know it's really difficult right now, but I promise you, like, find someone you enjoy and go have a reality break, right? But if you don't start getting out there and start living, you're going to die. You will absolutely not make it. And it's that's like running the worst grueling marathon, seeing the damn finish line and going, "Well, I ain't going."
I'm stopping.
Yeah, come on, you guys. Like, get out there and start living and start allowing yourself to really create the life you want, because it's more than possible.
It is absolutely.
It is more than possible.
Yes.
You just gotta, but you gotta push yourself to do it. We're just so, we have been divided
Yep.
by a bunch of bullshit for way too long.
Yep.
And we all need to come together. We can always agree to disagree. There shouldn't be a problem with that.
Right.
You should be like not talking with your family or your friends because of that.
Yeah.
Grow up.
Right.
Start enjoying one another. Start embracing one another. Even though you might have different views, it doesn't mean either one of you are right or wrong.
No.
And you can just let that be a subject that's just not there to talk about.
Right.
I mean, come on, you guys. Like, seriously, I really cannot stress the importance of getting out there and starting to live, because it is.
It's
It's
don't
gonna be
you
a rough
think
one.
it's vibrational too with what we're going through?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. You are either
You gotta
living and
step
thriving
it
or
up.
you're dying.
Yeah.
There is no gray.
Yeah. You gotta
And
stand up.
it's really a difficult time for everybody. So instead of being an ass, why don't we enjoy each other and embrace what we do love about each other?
Yeah.
Yeah, she says, "I think I just feel safe at home. I used to do so much and I feel like a doormat."
Understood
Yeah.
that. And you know, I do get that 100%. But if you can pull yourself out of this slump that you've been in, honestly, you've been in for a long time, and pull yourself out of this, girl, if I could just, I wish so bad I could show you what I could see. Because the life that you have literally waiting for you, like knocking at your door,
Magical.
is like everything you've been asking the dear Lord for. You know what I'm saying? It's your turn to shine. I think you had to go through this healing time because you were a doormat for way too long. But here we go. We're starting new. This is a new and improved you. No dings, no dents, not even smudge mark, right?
Shiny.
Get the hell out there and start living and creating the life you want, because it is waiting for you.
Doreen says she'll message you later.
Okay. Yes.
And Dawn,
Call out.
she
So I'm saying,
Don just commented, getting out more this summer was the best thing mentally for me.
So proud of you. See, that's what we're talking about.
Yes.
And Tiara says, any message for me?
You got an older female skin. I love you. I think this might be a grandma. She's a little chunky. I love her little curves. But she's like, it's so funny. She's like, I love you. Like she shouts out.
She's like shouting at the
Yeah,
top.
I love you.
Awesome.
Michelle says, any possible message for me? My aunt.
Oh, Michelle. You should have asked me that yesterday, Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle.
What
We
are
just
you talking about? You like what? Why not? Why did not you ask that yesterday?
for real.
When
love you.
when I see Michelle, I see that you're kind of finally you've been climbing this big tall mountain, and I see you're like almost to the top, ready to go up, and then like you're gonna be the king of the jungle soon. Like you just got a little bit more to go, and don't stop what you're doing with your journey.
This is so funny because I've seen the same thing with her climbing the mountain, but you know what they're showing me? Like this big hand and it's like putting their ass forward. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
I love art. I love the shit that
I
they
know,
show.
right?
It's just like, okay, here we go.
you're gonna like finally get to the top, and
Now you're
and
there.
gonna be free.
You're there.
If
You're
that
there.
makes
You had
sense.
to weed out your energy vampire soul sucker competes. you
Yeah,
know?
I've seen her do that.
And now you, I call it Taylor Swift, and you Taylor Swift their ass, never
Yep.
get back together. Now you can reach that goal.
Yep. Yeah.
And should we just take one more question?
Yeah, probably one
Okay.
more. We're running out of time.
Amber says, anything special from my grandma or on my mom's side? I swear it's the last one.
Well, Amber, you just have to join us again, and then there you go.
Yeah.
Amber, I don't feel like this is something that I want to put out there, so I don't really know how to say it vague enough that it would, I just don't.
It's
I don't
more
think
private.
that. Yeah, I don't think this message is one that would. So I'm asking her for something different, but she kind of keeps hitting this. So I don't know if maybe you can text us or
Yeah, put
do
your
something
number
like
and shout out.
private,
Well,
and
no,
maybe we
that's
could
not-
do that. But
Go to howdoyouspirit.com and
yes,
then we'll get in touch
please,
with you that way.
because again, this is just it's really important that you get this. Like this is a really important thing, which is usually comes from your guides, but they must have to be in recruiting her to get your attention or something because there's an issue there.
So go to the webpage and reach out to us, and then we'll have Taco get in touch with you so we can get that answer for you privately.
And then Melski was saying, just one more question, she says.
There's never one more question. Like I love when people, do you get that? Where they're like, I just have one question.
And then,
Honey, you're never gonna have just one question.
Right.
One question ends up being a half hour,
Right.
because you just have to go.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
okay,
that's
one
it.
more
She
question.
says,
Melski.
I make plans and then I cancel them. I have no follow through. How do I change? That
Well, it's
start
not-
small.
You know what? I say this like this all the time. We try to do too much, go in too many directions too fast. And so I hit this home all the time.
Yep.
We get 50 steps we get to take a day.
Yeah.
The way that you literally talk yourself, like you have a beautiful idea, you're like, oh fuck yeah, I'm gonna do this, and then you literally talk yourself out of it before you even get the whole idea out. You're going in about 50,000 directions every moment of every day, so you're not gonna see a lot of movement and
I feel
improvement.
like she gets
So
too,
you get too
burned
stretched
out.
out. Yep.
She gets too burned
And
out.
you don't even, you're
before-
burned out before you even do it.
Yes.
I relate
So-
to this so much.
Give your week a theme. This week, my only real time, effort, and attention I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this.
One thing.
Yeah. I'm going to go out to a restaurant and eat a good steak dinner.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to go out and do some boot, scoot, and boogie. Or whatever it may be. But if you can just allow yourself one thing at a time, because what you've done is you've sheltered yourself too much. And so now it's almost like you're afraid to come outside. So
Yeah.
come on now.
Yeah.
Come out. The sun's pretty out there. We got you.
Do you think that's just because the COVID made us so comfy?
Not only the COVID, but we've also got a lot of shiznit going on with political crap
Yeah.
and
Fear.
and
It's
it's
fear-based.
all fear-based, and we've been divided, and that is not good, because divided we ain't
Right.
doing shit.
Yeah.
United we can conquer anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yes, COVID definitely. Oh, that's the cutest little guy. COVID definitely did not help.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, our biggest culprit of why we don't know how to really socialize anymore is technology.
Yeah.
That's the truth. Yeah. 100%.
COVID was just the ice cream and cherry on top.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay, well, sorry guys, we do really have to run.
Yeah, we gotta go. We gotta be responsible again.
Yep. Anyway, but thank you so much, everyone, for joining us, and please come join us again. And Chelsea will have to come up with a sign.
Wait. Hold on. We got a cool sheen going on.
We got what?
A cool thing.
Oh yes.
We are going to. Well, we want you to submit your coolest ghost story.
Yes.
And submit it. Let us know, because we want to talk about it. And whoever has the coolest ghost story will get a free read between with me and Lori.
Yes. So go to the website howdoyouspirit.com. You can just put your story in there, or if you contact me that way, then I have your email address and I can email you directly and then share your story that way.
So share your story. We gotta do that. That will be fun shit.
Taco told me, I gotta remind me, and I forgot. So
I can't believe I remembered. That is so unlike me.
That's awesome. Okay, anyway, again, howdoyouspirit.com if you're interested in readings, online, in person, and submit your ghost stories. And how long should we give people? Like a week? It's a holiday weekend.
You know what? I think we should go 3 weeks. We'll give 3 weeks for them to submit their story, and then we'll pick our top. Should we do top 5 stories?
I think so.
And then they'll win
reading. That's
reading.
awesome. Yeah. Okay, so
we
much
could even
fun.
read them off and see who votes.
Oh,
We could do
that
a
might
vote
be.
thing. I think that'd be
then
kinda
we won't.
fun, yeah.
Then there won't be any maybe bias.
Right.
feelings going
So
on.
it's gonna be a voting thing. So submit your story. We're gonna vote on
Yes.
it, and whoever gets the top 5 that get the votes will get a free reading.
Yes. Okay. Perfect. Okay, and we'll remind you next time.